Welcome back, Warriors, to our Part 2 of Mortal Kombat Annihilation Deep Dives. In our last episode, we've delved into the making of this messy, guilty pleasure of a movie, and explored more into the making of it, and the casting choices of some of the popular characters. In this episode, we're going beyond the surface level and dissecting the film's bizarre lore changes, uncovering the hidden references you might have missed, and exploring the strange choices that made this movie. From baffling character adaptations to the subtle nods to the games, we're leaving no stone unturned. So grab your popcorn and prepare for a final dose of fun facts about this flick, and a usual reminder before we begin of major spoilers coming up. The movie features several recognizable characters from the video game franchise, such as Mileena, Ermac, Cyrax, Baraka, and Noob Saibot. However, despite their presence on screen, these characters are never explicitly named within the film's dialogue. This means that viewers unfamiliar with the games might not recognize them, and even fans would have to rely on visual cues to identify them. Sector, a cyborg ninja from the Mortal Kombat games, was notably absent from the movie. However, one of Sector's signature attacks, his chest-mounted missiles, appeared in the film, but they were repurposed and given to Smoke during his fight scene with Liu Kang. This decision likely stemmed from budget or time constraints, as creating multiple cyborg characters with unique abilities would have increased production costs. Additionally, several sources claim that an early version of the script had a different plan for Smoke's role in the story, as he was originally intended to team up with Mileena to try and assassinate Sonya Blade. However, this plotline was ultimately removed from the final version of the movie. The movie draws its core narrative from the storyline of the Mortal Kombat 3 video game. The film's plot, which revolves around Shao Kahn's invasion of Earthrealm, as well as the inclusion of key characters and their abilities, are all derived from the same game. While the film takes liberties with certain details and character portrayals, the fundamental premise of Shao Kahn's attempt to merge the realms serves as the foundation for the movie's plot. A notable aspect of this film is its abundance of acrobatic fight sequences, particularly the numerous flips performed by the characters. If you count all the backflips, front flips, and side flips throughout the film, a total of 54 are present. This sheer volume of flips underscores the film's emphasis on visually dynamic martial arts choreography, even if the execution and overall quality of the fights were often criticized. It also highlights the film's attempt to translate the over-the-top, exaggerated fighting style of the video games to the big screen. In the movie, the character of Ermac, the Red Ninja, demonstrates the ability to summon the shadowy warrior Noob Saibot. This ability aligns with the video game lore, where Ermac is depicted as a construct created by Shao Kahn, comprised of the souls of defeated warriors. This origin could explain his power to manifest Noob Saibot. However, the film significantly underutilizes Ermac's formidable power. In the Mortal Kombat games, Ermac is portrayed as an extremely powerful fighter, capable of holding his own against multiple skilled opponents simultaneously. Had the film accurately reflected Ermac's strength, his fight with Sonya Blade would have been a swift and decisive victory for him, rather than the more prolonged encounter shown on screen. Additionally, the role of Ermac was played by John Medlin, who was also the film's stunt coordinator. During a 20th anniversary screening, Robin Shou shared insights into the film's production challenges. Due to a limited budget and a demanding shooting schedule, coupled with his dual role as both the lead actor and fight choreographer, he was often stretched thin. This led to situations where he couldn't personally supervise fight scenes, such as the Sub-Zero vs. Scorpion battle, resulting in a noticeably different pacing and style. Similarly, for the Liu Kang vs. Baraka fight, Tony Jaa performed the majority of the action as Shou's stunt double because Shou was occupied with other scenes simultaneously. The movie included subtle nods to the video game series by referencing the characters Cabal and Stryker. Although these characters are well-known combatants from the games, they were only mentioned by name and did not make any physical appearances in the film. This means that fans of the games would recognize the names, but those unfamiliar with the series would likely miss the references. This choice by the writers may have been a way to acknowledge the broader Mortal Kombat universe without needing to dedicate screen time or resources to fully introduce these characters. Tui Trang, who is famous for her role as Trini Quan, the Yellow Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, had auditioned for the role of Jade, but was ultimately not cast, and the part went to Irina Panteva. Panteva made her English-language film debut in Annihilation with no prior martial arts experience. To prepare for the role, she underwent 6 months of intensive training, aiming to portray Jade as, quote, a powerful and sexy warrior. Notably, her fight scene was filmed in Thailand in a single take, and Panteva enjoyed the experience so much that she requested a second take from director John Leonetti, which he granted. She also expressed a strong connection to her character in a 1997 interview with Femme Fatale magazine, stating that she loved her character so much that she could not get away from her. The film marked the directorial debut of John Leonetti, who had previously served as the cinematographer for the first Mortal Kombat film. Interestingly, the cinematography for Annihilation was handled by Matthew Leonetti, John's older brother. John didn't direct another movie since Annihilation until 9 years later, where he directed The Butterfly Effect 2, and his career later extended beyond these films, notably including his collaboration with renowned horror director James Wan. As a cinematographer, John Leonetti contributed to the visually impactful horror films The Conjuring and Insidious Chapter 2, helping to establish their eerie atmospheres. He also stepped into the director's chair for Annabelle, the spin-off film from the Conjuring universe. For the fight scene between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, the filmmakers employed a simple yet effective technique to create the illusion of a snow-covered bridge. They used salt to simulate the appearance of ice. This practical effect allowed them to create a visually convincing icy bridge without the need for continuous CGI or elaborate set construction to allow the actors to shoot their fight scene on it. The scene where Sindel says,
"It was fun,"
is likely a direct reference to her friendship move from the video game Mortal Kombat 3. In the game, Sindel would execute a playful action, accompanied by the same phrase. This inclusion in the film serves as an Easter egg for fans of the video game, and a nod to the game's quirky friendship finishing moves, which offered a non-lethal alternative to the series' trademark fatalities.
That was fun!
Sindel wins. Flawless victory. Friendship. Friendship? Again?
The original plans for Shiva's role differed significantly from what ultimately appeared on screen, and her presence was significantly reduced due to budgetary constraints. Early scripts envisioned a much larger role for her, including a dynamic 2-on-1 fight against Liu Kang and Raiden, where Raiden was supposed to kill her. However, the cost of portraying Shiva's 4 arms through prosthetics and CGI proved too expensive, therefore the sequence was never filmed. Instead, the confrontation was changed to Raiden fighting 2 reptiles, and Shiva's demise is reduced to her being crushed by a falling cage. Her only real action sequence is a short confrontation with Motaro. But despite her limited screen time, the film acknowledges her role from the Mortal Kombat 3 game as the personal protector to Sindel. Chris Conrad's casting as Johnny Cage came about after a recommendation from Pat Johnson. Johnson's expertise from the first movie as the fight choreographer, along with his knowledge of the demands of the role and production, led him to suggest Conrad to the producers as a suitable replacement for Lyndon Ashby, who played Johnny Cage in the original movie, but refused to return for the sequel. And that's all the fun facts we have for you about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. We've delved into some interesting and probably hilarious insights about this controversial guilty pleasure of a flick, from casting choices to script changes and Easter eggs. But the journey will still continue with more fascinating deep dives about your favorite movies. So stay tuned for the upcoming releases, and keep that combat spirit alive. And until then, thanks for watching, stay sharp, and we will see you in the next series.